Morning. So I just wanted to shoot a video today about something I've realised on the back of my last coaching session with the eating disorder coach. I seem to have a pattern of thinking that the extreme, serious, real version of things doesn't apply to me. So my eating disorder isn't serious. It's not really a problem. It's just bad habits. It's just me being weak, and to call it an eating disorder would be sort of over exaggerating the problem or trying to find an excuse for just being a bit pathetic. And the same with the OCD. So me and the coach have talked about it for 2 sessions now, and the first time she mentioned it, I sort of said, yeah, I've probably got OCD a little bit, and it wasn't like a surprise that she mentioned that, but I've just dismissed it as being not really proper OCD. And if I was to identify with that, it would feel to me like I was making excuses for my actions and trying to find a label that explains me being the way I am in a way that's like a cop-out. And it's like I almost need a sort of documented diagnosis on a piece of paper before I can believe that it's legit. And I explained that to her, and her response was, well, you could get a diagnosis, but I'm not sure it's necessary, because if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then... And that's just been backed up by me talking to friends and starting to share with family and so on. It seems to be a repeating pattern that I'm the last one to the party. Everyone seems to be, well, definitely not surprised about any of what I have going on, and I'm opening up about and telling the truth about as though it's some big revelation, and everyone is just like, well, yeah, we know. You've got an eating disorder. Yeah, I mean, kind of obviously. OCD? Have you met you? And yeah, I'm not really sure what my take is from that. It's just a kind of, I could get frustrated about it taking me this long, but I don't know, I'm sure there are good reasons for it. And I could get frustrated about people not pointing it out, but I'm sure there are things in other people that I don't point out for the exact same reasons. So I don't really feel either of those things. I think I'm just realising that how I've seen myself has been wildly inaccurate quite a lot of the time, and that makes me feel a bit, I don't know, like I don't trust my view of the world anymore, or my view of myself, and I wonder whether I've been operating in a more deluded state than I maybe realise. And I often turn up with a kind of, hi, I'm really confident and bubbly, and it's nice to meet you, and I'm really professional, I'm great at my job, and I'm super efficient, and that person. And I rocked up to the first eating disorder, the first session with the eating disorder coach in exactly that state, going like, hi, so I'm gonna crash eating disorder recovery, nice to meet you. And it just, I think it feels like maybe part of this process has to be just knocking that bullshit to shreds and being vulnerable in a way that isn't me going, hi, I'm being vulnerable, look at me being vulnerable. Because it's just another layer of the bullshit, really. Yeah, I'm not really sure where all that's going, but I guess the point is to not try and control where it's going, and not try and understand it, and just let it be and let it play out as it will. I do actually just want to add a couple of other things to that whole not thinking the real version applies to me bit that I forgot to say. So it's echoed through quite a lot of my life. So I'm bisexual. I'm probably closer to gay, if I'm honest. But I've mostly only had relationships with men, and it's taken me a very, very long time to work out my sexuality, and I still don't think I have fully. And a lot of that is because I've had a dialogue in my head since I was a teenager that is, I'm not gay because gay is too interesting and it doesn't apply to me. So it felt like I was like, well, if I was gay, I'd be really, really sure about it. So I must not be. And me thinking that's a possibility is just me trying to be interesting and trying to be something I'm not, and I don't know, attention seeking or something. And that's the same kind of with everything. So my gut problems were really serious and ended up with me having surgery, but somehow it was still, this is just a silly thing that's going to blow over that you've done to yourself. Like, it's my fault. It's not something that happened to me. It's something I did to myself, and I need to fix it, and it's not that serious. I'm just making a fuss about nothing. And the OCD is the same. I'm just making a fuss about nothing. And the eating disorder, it's just bad habits. I'm making a fuss about nothing. And the other really weird one that is going to sound a bit, it's a bit dark, but my mum died when I was 6, and I quite strongly remember a dialogue in my head in the few years after that, or maybe 3 or 4 years after that, where some of my friends' parents were divorced, and I remember thinking, I'm really lucky because my mum and dad are still in love and they're not divorced. And I thought I had a normal family because of that, and that I was lucky to have a normal family. And the fact that mum was dead was apparently irrelevant to that. And I think it's just more of that kind of, the difficult, unusual stuff happens to someone else. Yeah. Dark note to end on, sorry. But there it is. That's the mic drop. Yeah.